Should be fine now. So, everybody here?
Yikes.
Yup.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. If you're
Yeah.
not here, say aye, right? So, sort of like a session review, since it's been a couple weeks. Last session, following the events that unfolded within the mansion of Argynvostholt, you've made contact with the Keepers of the Feather in order to bring Argynvost's skull back to its resting place within the Dragon's Mausoleum. You also solved the riddle holding the key to opening the arcane locked chest you found within the keep. Within the chest, you found a magical vessel to hold the beacon's conduit. Venturing up to the peak of Argynvostholt's tower, you placed a dragon egg upon the central pedestal and have now come one step closer to reigniting the beacon and reawakening the spirit of the silver dragon so that it may shine upon Barovia and cleanse away the curse that has befallen the mansion. All that remains now is for you to plan your heist for the dragon's bones, hidden away somewhere in the lair of Argynvost's ancient enemy. An hour after midnight, you held a funeral pyre, burning the corpses of the dead, as well as that of Durendal, Moonglow, and Samson. You then set off west to the safety of the Wizard of Wine's winery. In the dark of night, whilst traveling on the road, you encountered an elderly dusk elf in a hooded cloak. Wishing to intimidate this individual and secure safety for yourself, Ramirez convincingly imitated Rahadin, which made the dusk elf cower, grow frightened. Upon closer inspection, some among you recognized the elf to be Guinevere, a reckless shopkeep from Valaki. Scared and confused, Guinevere attempted to flee, but was caught and brought back to the group by Javik. After some conversation, Guinevere's fright was replaced by vexation as he realized the ruse Ramirez had pulled on him. Guinevere openly reviled the heir of Casimir's mission to oppose Strahd and warned that further pursuit of his goal would earn Strahd's ire, which will fall like a hammer upon the Daskelf tribe. This prompted Casimir to anger, and in his wrath, he cast a necrotic spell that stopped Guinevere's heart, killing him. You buried his body in the ditch. An hour later, you arrived at the winery and made camp. Ea and Casimir spent a couple hours deciphering the next chapter of the Tome of Strahd. The two of you unveiled Strahd's recount of his unholy communion with an entity promising him his heart's desire. You then gather around the tome and let the mists enshroud you once more as you were ushered into visions of the past. So, sort of picking up from where we last left off, you find yourselves within the depths of the Ember Temple, standing amid a grand library Athenium. I can't talk. I worked 12 hours. TT ta. I do believe this is the map we last left off on. You all should be over
It
here.
is.
Looking around, you see a black and gold marble shelves lined with hundreds of books, scrolls, and all manner of magical paraphernalia. Before you stands the library's keeper, a pallid man whose bald head is decorated with intricate arcane tattoos. He wears silk robes cast in this deep red, sort of crimson color with gold and amber accents along the trim. Upon his neck hangs a pendant featuring a symbol composed of circles within circles. This Grand Mage stands by the railing of a spiraling staircase, watching. With measured composure, two men descend down those steps deeper into the temple's vaults. Ahead, you see Strahd von Zarovich as he was in life, along his general, Sir Alec Gottfried Willem, as they continue their descent, their torchlights disappearing into the darkness below. Behind you, slowly, steadily, as if in slow motion, from where you came into this room, a veil of fog and mist advances, as Strahd's vintage point and recollection of this memory and events steadily begins to shift to the vaults. This room begins to fade, but you still have a few moments before you are swallowed by the wall of mist. With that in mind, what do you wish to do?
Brandar's just moving over towards the way Strahd went, just looking towards the others. Just waiting for them.
I would just follow Strahd.
Casimir is staring at the luck blade recipe and also the rod. He's just like mesmerized by it. It almost takes him a second to realize everyone's moved on, and he looks longingly at the.
So while some do follow Strahd's visage, you are left not alone. You are left with Mage, the Keeper, as well as Esmeralda, who seems to be mirroring your motions, seeing that what you found, and her eyes like grown wide. She has begun rummaging through the outer shelves real quick just to see what she can find. Her interest kind of drawn toward the contents on the shelves.
Out of curiosity, Casimir's just going to talk to the mage to see if he reacts, and just how is all this here? How is so much in one place? Where did this all come from?
You find little answer in the quiet silence that Grand Magus gives you. He doesn't seem to be able to hear you. Though your movements, you notice that his eyes shifted now and then to your taking of items and then moving around. He seems to be treating this like poltergeist-like activity simply as yet another unnatural manifestation brought forth by the temple's forces. Whoever this individual is, he's used to this kind of unnatural phenomena. But he cannot answer your question.
Give chase to Strahd.
Okay.
Yeah, Brandar just kind of looks at Casimir. He's like, "Remember, lad, this is Strahd's memory, not that guy's."
Within your hand, Casimir, is the rod that you picked up, made of platinum with gems embedded upon it, 2 faces at each end, as well as the schematics of the luck blade. Within just sight of you, within the obvious range of sight, you see like an iron flask, like engraved with a symbol that you passively would just know from your arcana experience, some reference to the abyssal planes. There are various spell components lining the shelves as well. There's a large jacinth, bars of silver, and an hourglass filled with what is unmistakably diamond dust, just floating in its bodies. There are books of magic. There are components.
He would be more interested. He's like panicking now that Strahd's getting further away and he only has so much time. He's going to go for just a thick tome of magic. He's not even going to read the spine because he doesn't have much time, and he knows if he opens it, he'll start reading it. So he's just going to reach for the shelf and grab a thick, interesting, heavy tome of magic before he chases after the group.
You grab what looks to be, just at quick glance, a very well preserved ancient collection of scrolls within a tome-like shape. And at the tome's front and center, embedded into the tome, is a zirconium ring that features like a skeletal face with one of its eyes missing. The scrolls, you're not sure what they contain, but the scrolls must seem brittle and kept intact by the magic of this tome.
He looks at it. He's awed. He like just reads a line or two, closes it, puts it in his bag, and then just looks at Esmeralda and just says,
Are you familiar with the Abyssal language?
I not at my computer. I think so. I baby's eating, so not at my. Sorry.
If you're not familiar with the Abyssal language, the words are foreign to you. Esmeralda grabs something into her inner pocket and follows the rest of the group.
And I'll just follow along. I'll be muted, but I'll be here for the next 15 minutes or so.
As you descend downstairs, following Strahd's wake with Casimir at the back, you enter a tomb made of black marble. Before you are 3 alcoves. Within each is like a large chunk of solid amber. Imprisoned within each amber sarcophagus is a dark moat made of shadow that floats and undulates like a tendril jellyfish suspended in a crystal prison. You see Strahd. He stands in the round chamber, covered in the blood of the mages he slew in his calamitous pursuit for the source of the whispers, the voices in his head. Eyes wide with maddened rage, he shrieks, "I am here! I have come to you. What do you require of me? Are you, Death, here to finally claim my soul? If so, then take me and be damned." You see the amber sarcophagus in the south alcove hum and glow crimson. Out of the void, the voices from the study shout together. "It is by your behalf that I have come. You have fed me well, and you are due for your reward. Lay your hand on my tomb. Sate your hunger for lost youth, and together we shall remove all rivals from your path and age not one day more." You see Strahd's right-hand man, Alec Willem, grip his sword with a firm hand. He too hears the voice from the void. Strahd takes several steps toward the large amber sarcophagus dominating the center of the room. You hear Strahd's sword clatter to the ground and feel the sound draw from the already arctic cold chamber. With each silent footfall, the torchlight dims. All light is swallowed into this perpetual darkness, enshrouding the amber tomb before you. An unholy communion ritual begins. The entity within the amber sarcophagus yearns to be set free. Strahd begins speaking in incantations, his hand tracing sigils in the air in an attempt to break a seal between him and his heart's desire. Casimir, you recognize those words. They are of your people, incantations in the ancient tongue of the Dusk Elves, words of magic that Strahd could have only acquired from one of your people, words you heard spoken before upon your sister's lips from days of youth when the arcane was but a niche calling. As you watch Strahd approach the sarcophagus, all of you realize you have now a choice before you. You may aid Strahd in this ritual and witness history unfold, or work to prevent it. What do you do?
I would just let it happen.
I
Let's see
I
what.
would, yeah, I would actually walk over and try and touch the sarcophagus before Strahd does. Lay my hand against it.
Casimir, not
You-
wanting the future to happen, and hearing his sister's words on his lips, he's just going to mimic the words with a slight alteration, like changing the conjugation of a word, the pronunciation of a similar word, just in his head as he's trying to recall it to put as much distraction into the words so he hopefully fucks up the incantation.
You watch Strahd struggle with words, his language not his own, and the voices in his head conflicting. Even now, doubt mires his mind. Casimir can roll me a wisdom check that Strahd will contest. Ramirez, upon placing your hand on the ember sarcophagus before you, you, for the briefest moment, see something staring back from the void. It is a winged thing. 2 crimson black wings. No face. Horns. Long arms clawed. A spiraling tail ending in an almost arrowhead-like shape. A demon from the abyss stares back before the visions weaken. It is still imprisoned, still contained within the vessel. Its influence into this domain limited. What do the rest of you do?
I'm gonna approach the Windling.
Yep.
I'm gonna whisper in his ear, "This is wrong. You need to stop him. Think about your oaths."
Roll persuasion.
Happily. Sorry, I didn't open the shit.
Strahd continues his incantations, shaking off the attempts to distract him. But I don't see a rule in there.
9.
9. There is
Desmond
doubt.
rolled with Average on Discord because he's not he doesn't have access to Roll20 right now.
It's
Unfortunately-
17 plus,
unfortunately,
plus or
17
minus,
does not
my lord.
beat the 21 save.
Perfect.
But an attempt was made. It did slow the ritual ever so slightly. It's working. Your voices are heard by Strahd, by his consciousness, and by Willem. It is as if, not by blood, but by bond, the two are bound in mind. Master and servant. As you're whispering your convictions into Willem, you can see his hand rest upon his the handle of his sword. But can he truly draw it against his master? Can he truly stop him? Your words turn to actions. You can see your influence upon the world. Maybe, just maybe, more influence from your part will change history, or at least this vision, and will grant you a sight into what could have been. With that being said, do any of you attempt anything else as the ritual continues?
So basically, try and see if we can distract it.
I will take I will try to slice my hand a bit to get some blood and try and splash it in Strahd's eyes to effectively cause irritation and break his concentration.
You watch as frustration does awash upon Strahd's face, and Gwillem steps back in horror to see blood appear out of nowhere, out of the spirals of the arcane circle now manifesting at the floor, out of thin air. Go ahead. It's just will. It's just will against will, so it's gonna be wisdom.
Okay. That's gonna be fun.
It was effective enough to slow him down, stutter him. You see Strahd shake. His legs give. The ritual begins to take a toll upon him. His steps slow as he takes one knee, but then frustrated grits his teeth and gets up one step closer to destiny. Your attempts work, giving time for Gwilym to contemplate the words. He sees that this is wrong. This is all wrong. You hear the sound of Sir Gwilym's sword brush against its sheath, drawn and in hand, held at an angle across his body as though wary of an attack, a paring dagger in his other hand. With a
Well,
Yeah.
actually, I'll step up behind him and just loom over him and just say, "Do it." Jab it between his third and fourth rib. Let it be done. Make him fall.
you hear
Make him
whisper
suffer.
silently to himself in answer. Truly, to betray twice. First, my order, and now this. Maybe I can fix it. No, I cannot undo what was done. Maybe I can stop what will be. Go ahead and roll persuasion.
Ugh.
I would like to help him.
I already took with
I know.
persuasion.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, with
judging.
his
I'm judging
perspective.
both your rolls here. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Nice.
You persuade him into action. You watch as, with a guarded expression on his face, Gwilym steps forward, quivering, stammering. You did not give him confidence. You gave him courage to act, but... My lord? There is a note of cautious doubt in his voice. I beg your pardon, my lord, but... You can't... And then you watch Strahd turn, his expression cold. He strides close to Gwilym, his own blade held ready. What? I can't. What? You see Gwilym flinch, afraid. By persuasion does not grant him courage. You knew, Gwilym. You knew of the price I'd be willing to pay. As though someone else guides my arm, I find myself with no choice. You see Strahd make a fast cut to Gwilym's head. Just as fast, Gwilym parries and drops back a pace. No, Strahd, don't! There's another cut. Another
And-
parry. Yeah.
You see, as that happens, would Brandar be able to try and like basically get between and parry the blade again, like for Strahd's blade?
Yes, you may attempt an attack on your behalf against Strahd, guiding Gwilym's hand in this fateful moment.
You want me to roll for an attack?
Yep. I'll be using your attack against Strahd's.
Okay.
And I'll be rolling in secret because spoilers for later.
Plus 13.
You,
He doesn't deny it. He doesn't deny it.
did you roll 20 to hit?
I mean,
Yeah.
the Halbus was plus 12.
You watch Strahd go for a fatal blow. There's no doubt in those killing eyes, but you parry. You guide the hand of Gwilym, and even in your weakened, almost dead state, you have enough spirit to guide yet another parry. For Al Gwilym to shout out, Strahd! But a rising wind carries his words away. Its whisper, gusts, or roar obscuring the ring of metal on metal. Strahd strikes again. Alec retreats. You keep on blocking. Don't do this. It is clear that even now, Sir Gwilym does not want to fight Strahd. To Strahd, it doesn't seem to matter. Battle fever has already taken over him, and with his savage joy, he embraces the heat. Swords
Can
continue
Casimir
clashing.
do something as this sword clash is happening?
Yeah. What do you want to do?
Casimir is going to put both his hands on the sarcophagus and try to say the proper incantation Strahd was saying, just as quickly as he can, to make the deal before Strahd can with whatever this creature is.
You begin saying the words. Roll me Arcana check, if you can. I'll take your modifiers if you want to just roll d20s, or
Yep,
I'll roll for you.
I can roll a d20. I'm proficient in Arcana. Is 7 plus a decent bit.
You know
probably
what?
not
I'll
enough.
give you advantage. Roll again, because you've studied Ember Temple for a longish time. It's better.
17.
With 17 plus your modifiers, yeah.
1.
You can tell that you are not the one in charge here in this ritual. The entity has formed a bond with its query. It wants Strahd. You finish it. You finish the deal. And all you're doing by touching the crystal and incanting, it's backfiring upon you as you escalate the ritual forward. Do you stop?
He would just like go through his head, just like I give myself, and then he'd start offering the boys, and then Ramirez, and then his entire people to ensure his people continue. He'd just like keep going in his head what he's willing to pay and sacrifice. Not like trying to be better quarry. He's like, I give everything this person has, and everything Vratislav and Milos are, and then he gestured to Ramirez in the room, and then finally his entire people.
You feel the entity acknowledge your words, and with mirth, laugh, offer your people. My boy, you already have. Your attempts are noted. All the while, you turn, after speaking to the entity, flicking back to the dark tendrils of reality behind you. You see swords clashing. The two men give in to battle fever. At this point, with Brander's guidance, even Gwilym has given in to this fight, finally gathering courage to fight back, advance. With quick lunges and twists, trying to take the sword from Strahd's hand, Gwilym pushes the arm wide, and you roll a 20. Seizing one opportunity, he dives in with his dagger. And you watch, though Strahd doesn't so much as flinch, by the light of the embers throughout, you see the abrupt stain of red on Strahd's shirt. Blood just wells from Strahd. Strahd roll 17. But then you see Gwilym break off, staring, perhaps in shock. He just stammers.
Well done. Ramirez will yell to Gwilym. Well done, you're following your order. Go, you can win this.
No. No.
Come now, it's what Argynvost would want. Stop him.
You roll persuasion. With...
Okay.
I'll give you advantage on that. Because battle fever.
Okay.
17. You watch him again. Tears streaming down his eyes at the mention of Argynvost's name and at the deed he's doing, and at the loss of self, the oaths now broken and broken again. A paladin serving no master. The blade bites once more, and then again, between ribs, close to heart, puncturing lungs. You watch Strahd cough. No! Clutching his side, eyes just losing focus. But no denial would heal or stave off the outpouring of his life. Strahd's knees go to jelly. You see sweat drip down his cold flesh. No medicine check is required on your guy's part to see that this is bad. This is a bad wound. These are all bad wounds. Mortal wounds. Strahd's last wounds. You know the signs. You, having seen them in others, Strahd is going to die. And then, as Alec hesitates, Strahd makes one last vindictive strike. The blade finds solid flesh and bites hard. You see Alec Willem cry out once and drops his dagger to clutch his throat. With his strength draining away, Strahd uses what is left for a final push and turns, then yanks the blade free. It falls his fingers and clangs dully against the paving stones next to Alec's dagger. Alec grunts and collapses by Strahd's side, still holding his sword. He could yet finish him, but makes no move to do so. Instead, he lets go of his weapon and sinks forward, as though settling in for sleep in his own bed. Strahd lays prone upon the floor, curled up on his side, breathing shallow breaths. Then a voice speaks from the dark. Don't you want to live, Strahd? It isn't Gwillem. The voice is too clear in your heads, undistorted by death rattle, but it sounds like him. And Alec hears it too. You see him wincing in reaction. Don't you want to live? Asks Tatiana's voice. Live? Sergei's voice. Yes. Damn you, croaks Strahd. The voices laugh, all at once. Then you know what to do. And so help him he does. Slowly, Strahd crawls. He just crawls upon his arms, crawling toward Alec. Willem's breath is like shallow, his eyes roll towards Strahd, just blood wells up his mouth and spills from one corner, and you hear him murmur.
I'd like to pick up Strahd's sword, because he's now left that and is crawling. I'd like to pick that up to deny him access to that.
You see
At least in this encounter,
turn toward the sword, levitate.
Give Willem a chance.
You see Strahd turn to watch the levitating sword levitate away from the circle. And he chuckles. I understand. No steel. Only I remain. And you see him turn his head back toward Willem. Didn't have to be this way, my lord. He chokes, but Strahd says nothing. I'd have helped you, no matter what. This did not have to be. I'm afraid it did. Willem's near hand comes up to clutch Strahd. Instead of clutching a weapon, he just clutches Strahd close. Willem sucks in another precious draught of air. More blood spills from his mouth, obscuring his voice. You promised me. But Strahd just hushes it. Sleep. And Willem's grip on Strahd relaxes, and he drifts off, nearly gone. You watch Strahd's eyes focus on the slit across Willem's neck. Not upon his sword, but upon the slit. Blood, a whole fountain of it. Life, if he dares to take it. And you watch as he drinks deep and lives again. Slowly, He gets up onto his feet, chin dripping with Alec's blood. Strahd turns towards sarcophagus, hand bracing against the now glowing amber, and you see where the light has been drawn, a phantasmal shadow erupts from the surface of the tomb and forms into a humanoid shape with wing-like appendages draping from its forearms like the grand sleeves of a robe. The wings envelop Strahd, and the shadows soon come to swallow the room. Time comes to a halt here. This moment of terror frozen in stasis. For those of you curious, you see this before you. As the scene begins to sort of meld away and collapse into mist, a single voice, Strahd's voice, resounds all throughout. There it was, a bargain made in blood. Death had named its price, but I would pay anything. Anything. Casimir's words now. Pay anything to claim back my youth and win Tatiana's heart. To claim my people. It is as if the two sentences are spoken at the same time, overlapping memories, history repeating itself. But then it's done. All is swallowed back into that void of darkness and mist. You find yourselves holding the tome of Strahd in your hands, its face open to the page-deciphered chapter. There is blank space upon the parchment. It's like it is there that you can see ink begin to sort of ooze onto its surface, forming sentences in delicate handwriting. An addendum written and dated by Strahd years after the event that you just witnessed. And the crimson ink sets and dries upon the page. So you are back in the present.
Well, that could have gone a little bit better if we wanted to try and stop it, I suppose, but I suppose it was just a memory. There's never any real hope of stopping it there, was there?
What's done is done. No matter what we did, things still would have played out the same, just maybe with a slight variation.
Yes, probably.
Truly, what could you have done? What you were facing was beyond you. The thing from the outer sphere, the winged thing. The unholy communion. Sometimes the power dynamic is simply tipped against you.
Well,
Casimir, so that was the Amber Temple that you speak of all the time?
It didn't. You just see him like still clutching the things he got, just pounding there. It didn't work. They said if I got there, I'd make the bargain. It would work.
But were you truly there, brother? You were set to change the future, not the past. Find me. And that's all the voice says this time. You know where it is. You have the means to seek it. You know where her body is, and you have the means to seek it. All that is left for you, Casimir, is action. The time for research is done.
He just looks at the party. Right, Brenda. I hope that I would gain some gratitude for helping you with your order. Once we get these bones, get them back to Argenvost, I request your assistance to go to, and then he just like points his finger at the book there. We need to go to that place. I have a bargain I must complete.
You got it, but you also need to remember your sister's in like Ravenloft as well. Why not get her at the same time?
No, I need the knowledge. He just shows like the book and the scrolls and the stuff. This came from a fragment of a memory. There is much power there that could assist all of us. And he just looks at Esmeralda. You, Vistani, I'm sure you came up with some powerful bauble. What spoil did you steal?
Deep in thought, the bauble that she has still in her hands, but she's frowning, brow furrowed with much concern. You see she holds a spellbook in her hands, but tracing the arcane words, you can tell that it is but parchment and words and ink, all magic drawn from it. The usual glitter of arcane, the touch of the weave has abandoned this object. It does not belong in this timeline. It does not belong in this reality. Some rule has been broken of reality, and now the object has been rendered mute. This troubles Esmeralda, as she can still make out the words and the potential that this object could have provided, and there's much disappointment in it, in the realization that it will never be restored unless she finds the original. And then that's when the glint of determination is found in her eye, and she says, This was progress. Strahd has made a bargain with something much worse than I have ever feared. I have faced many vampires in my time, but this is different. It is possible my methods of killing undead will not suffice to undo the bond between Strahd and death itself. I was hoping to perhaps acquire the means, but I don't think we can from the book. I think we need to traverse there in our time, where the weave is whole and magic is still alive. I need time to think. I thank you for your efforts to decipher all we can learn from this book, and should you wish to pursue yet another chapter, I would very much like to witness what it has to tell, perhaps even tonight, for time is of the essence. But I'll leave that choice to you. I must report these findings to Dr. von Richten. This information, even the one in my hands, will be crucial in our efforts to find a way to break Strahd's curse. Is it the same with yours? The items you recovered, Casimir?
Yes, I found, I found the stuff that I need to spend time to identify in these scrolls of, this. He would freely mention the luck blade because he needs all the help to get this incredibly powerful blade of immensely powerful magic, and so he does speak Abyssal. He thumbs through it. What did he glean just from like a title or general theme of the book with the skull with one eye?
So it's a well-preserved series of ancient scrolls and a zirconium ring that features a skeletal face with one of its eyes missing. The scroll contains instructions for achieving, essentially, lichdom. The scroll is written in Abyssal, but you fiddle with the ring a little bit, and the words become even clearer when you wear the zirconium ring. From the various pages, you also find some of them have been ripped from a larger tome and kept in this one, as if ripped from the original or copied by magic. You're not sure, but now they're just parchment and ink. Go ahead and roll me like an Arcana check going over those.
Yeah.
These are demonic names. You're not sure what their purpose is, but they're recorded here in large lists. Some of them have been marked in different colored ink as if chosen.
So let me know how.
You tell there's some sort of an association between these demon names and the notes on lichdom. They're kept in the same, essentially tome-made binder.
He's going to not outright lie to Esmeralda, but he's going to talk around the truth a little bit and omit it. He's essentially going to say it's like the tome. There is much magical knowledge. I need time with it to fully understand but it is of great magical value. I need time to fully digest its contents.
You read top of the page of one of them has the original title and page index. The title is extracted from the Demonomicon och Ikvild.
Interesting.
I can't talk.
Do I need to make a deception check for? Because he's definitely cagey. He doesn't want to tell her.
Either it is suffice enough for truth that she takes it for your word for it, or she simply doesn't care enough.
Perfect.
To insight check you right now. She has much bigger things on her mind as well, so I'm not gonna make you roll.
Okay, good.
Yeah. For the rest of you are faced with a choice. You may discuss if you wish. I'm not gonna interrupt that.
Yeah, at this point, Ramirez would be looking at the sword that he had pulled away from Strahd to keep back. What do I do with this? I imagine this would get a lot of anger from Strahd to possess. Do we want to hide it somewhere?
My question is, why did you keep it then? If you knew it was going to anger Strahd, why do you carry a death wish upon you?
I didn't know it would come out of the tome.
You could have dropped it,
smile
lad.
goes over Casimir's face. I could not think of a better end to your brother than to have the boot that he licks sword end his life. The one thing he respects shall be the one thing that takes him from this place.
Oh, I already have a plan for that.
As far as I can see it, you have two choices, right? Keep the blade, do with it what you want. I mean, if it's the death of you, then I told you so. But if you wish to get rid of it, I sort of have an idea, and you should consider it. If we can take items out, though they lose their magical properties and become mundane, perhaps we can take items in and leave them there.
Ooh, that sounds...
I don't know. The tome is in your hands. I haven't had time to experiment with it as you have. And for one reason or another, Remington is quite insistent on you carrying the tome. So...
No, well, I believe things that we do back there can have effect on the areas, like something about a scratch mark up in Strahd's study that was made a long time ago that's still there today, like in other chapters.
You mean the teleportation circle in the study? I thought you guys were just checking it out. The one engraved in the floor, yes? The one we saw in the previous memory.
No, I don't know who it was, but they scratched a little mark under the rug just to make a mark.
She heard your words, and she's also very, very much confident in her own words.
Yeah.
It's my way of saying you're both right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Do we know where the other end of that circle is?
Well, who says there needs to be only one? My experience with magical circles is that they're a method of transport to any other magical circle within a realm. If the right runes match, then it is just a conduit for somebody's will to traverse.
Fortunately, I do not have the means to.
Well,
Well,
wasn't there?
neither do most of my people, but in times when we did need to use the circles, we would be entrusted some sort of a talisman or a waygate item that will serve as a key of sorts. Perhaps Strahd or his servant, if not both, use some sort of a key like so. After all, not every man is a talented wizard who's capable of mastering such magics, but such magic is available to many people within cities, towns.
Well, there was another circle that Nadia had told us about
Where?
in the old burgomaster's house.
You mean that place that got
Victor.
burned down?
Yeah.
Wait, isn't that where we met you? I thought we moved in. You all moved. Well, I thought you all moved in there.
Yeah, we were there when. Where
Did you
we
say
met
the
you?
Burgermeister's house or the coffin maker's house?
Burgermeister.
Ah, okay. I was thinking about the coffin maker. Sorry. Esmeralda misheard.
Oh, because then I was starting to think, I'm like, wait, I don't think that burned down.
No.
Yeah.
No, the
Because
Burgomaster's house is
Because you said yes,
basically-
I was like, yes, I'm correct. But no, I just misheard.
Yeah, they got given it as part of their award helping Vlactar.
Wait,
Yeah.
hold on. This is big. You said there's a teleportation circle, a working teleportation circle, in the Burgermeister's house.
I mean, possibly, but from what Nadia said, the son previously was using it to kill cats or something. I don't know.
He wasn't able to fully. He wasn't able to fully put people through.
Casimir would just say he might have been a fool. If we need to go there, I need to inspect the circle. If one of you can draw the one from the study, why didn't any of you tell me this?
Probably because we've been a little bit busy with the swamp and other things, and then are getting lost.
Clear and just almost like derisively. Clearly, none of them are gifted with the arcane.
Well, I'll tell you who is gifted with arcane. That's Strahd. As far as I can see, our future holds a couple options. There's the tome. As much as we can research and find out, and arm ourselves with answers, I suggest we do so. There is the Amber Temple. But that place would require much preparation, in my opinion. We would need to find a way to track it, to find it, and then prepare for what's inside. For it has been years since the memory. There's no way of telling what's there now. And then there's Ravenloft, and as I said, if there's one spellcaster I know who is capable of magic circles, it is Strahd and his court.
Yes. Well, I think we should head back into the tome, find more. Potentially we can find another useful location with a circle in there. After all, that's where we found the last circle.
I mean, if all the places we know about as a circle, there's his study, and now there's one in the Burgermeister's house. We've got a way in and out if Casimir can figure out how to use the damn thing.
Yes. Well,
In and out of where, though? We do not know where it leads. I'm just being cautious. I'm not talking you out of
Yeah.
it.
I don't know, would reading the runes be able to decipher where it goes?
If
She
we read the
shrugs.
runes,
She would
I
not
might
know.
be able to get to wherever this is, but I would not know where
Well-
the room is.
Well, you know what, Brenda? Roll me intelligence check. Just
Okay.
to see what you can remember about magic circles from your background as an artificer and such. or from your reading of arcane arts. Because you might just, yeah, exactly, you might just know passively. Typically, with magic circles, no. You do not know where it heads by reading the circle, but you can match two circles together to know that they are linked. There is a way, and people who train in creating circles, specifically to cities with coordinates and such, but such an art eludes you, and eludes most people, I would say. We're talking about, like, red mages of Thay, or, like, extremely talented mage circles who practice such art of specifically noting down where circles go. As far as you can tell, if you see one circle and you see another, you'd be able to tell where to match from memory in future. But you've only encountered so few.
Okay.
Really, the answer we must seek out when we're in Ravenloft, perhaps put that on your list of things to do, is find out how does Strahd and his minions travel throughout Barovia using the circles. There must be a way. It can't be that complicated.
Yeah, well, that's one thing that we do need to try and find out, because I don't have really a lot of means of transporting a fucking giant dragon skeleton, so that would be one of the best methods that we'd have.
And it's not like Strahd is going to give us a hand with that either. But you mentioned another circle in the Burgermeister's house. If it doesn't work, it wasn't done by Strahd or his minions. Who was it done by?
It's done by his son, Victor.
And he is... where?
Oh, him and...
Currently prisoner, isn't
Actually,
he? Unless he
I
was
wouldn't
killed.
know.
Yeah, I don't think it was Victor either way.
You don't
Oh, the
think
question...
Victor made the circle?
Yes, I don't think Victor did the circle. I think he found it. But who put it there is beyond me.
Troubling. If only we could find who made the circle, maybe he will be able to assist us with this task with the bones. Otherwise, the keepers, maybe? I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. And again, maybe we'll find the answer within the castle. First things first, we must find the bones, confirm they're there. But
Yes.
even before then, I must go and present this as evidence to Dr. Verdrechten. Do you have anything else that you require of me?
Don't think so.
Alright. Oh,
Yeah, we'll
and
accompany you. We'll come with
Ramirez, she looks at you with some unease. I'm in no position to be of your commander. That is what your tribe leader is here for, to tell you what not to do and not do. But sometimes your decision making is clouded. Perhaps, drink. You look pallid, and I'd be lying if I would say I don't carry a bullet, just in case things go awry. So, take care of that. Perhaps after, before you go elsewhere.
That's the point here. What the hell are you going to do with this thing over here?
What thing?
The dragon. He points over to the car.
No.
Sleeping. Let him sleep. He has 8 hours. I'll take care of it in the morning.
It's not really an answer, is it? What are you planning to do with it?
I don't know. It's gonna be my winged horse someday.
Alright, ambitious. I mean, Godspeed. I'm not here to stop you guys. Wonderful says I should encourage you to do things in your own creative way, whatever that means. Maybe he's used to adventurers in their methods. Who knows? I don't know. Or maybe he just doesn't want to involve himself too much with you guys because, everybody he involves himself with dies. So either way, I trust him.
Even I think it's crazy.
Right. Well, figure it out. I'm gonna get this book here. And she waves a book, and just from a glance at the cover, not much detail. You can tell it's like some spellbook containing forgotten schools of magic. By the cover, it looks like one that allows control of time and the
Hmm.
ravaging of the rain. Only ink and paper now, but still something worth like keeping for Esmeralda. So she's gonna go ahead. You guys want to spend like that hour deciphering shit? That's what she's gonna do. She's gonna go to Runrican and just let him know what transpired. And I'm
How
gonna let
tired are we? We haven't rested yet, right?
you are
Yeah, we haven't
entering.
rested.
You are entering exhaustion. I'm not gonna lie. You can push if you wish.
Casimir would say it has been a long day. Most of us have nearly died. We should get some rest before we continue in the morning. There is much to do, and I strongly suggest you all we should all get some rest before we glean more information and hopefully begin the journey to the Emperor Temple.
Anybody against?
No, I'm for.
So for the sake of expediency, we can say that you guys rested in your tents outside the Wizard's Wine. I'm just gonna make a little rule here.
Casimir's not going to bed. He's taking a short rest and he's like taking a cat nap and reading that fucking Abyssal book. He'll take the level of exhaustion. He's like getting a cat nap and then read that book all night. I'll take the level of exhaustion.
So the rest of you go ahead and roll that long rest.
Actually, never mind. I can't even
Why?
because I have no more hit dice. So I'm just taking the level of exhaustion.
So you roll a Constitution saving throw, actually. Yeah, and you take
Really
a
into that book.
Yeah, you go ahead and you spend some time to the book. You can feel your eyes draw heavy. From now that you have exhaustion, go ahead and roll me. It's still Arcana.
11.
Okay. What? I'll give you some details, but what are you looking for? You can tell that the zirconium ring is. I'll show you what it looks like. Roll me religion, actually, while you're at it.
7.
So zirconium is a very dark blackish metal, and you can tell that the visage featured upon the ring, the skull within one eye and the other empty eye socket, and the grin, that deathly grin, it is a symbol of the Whispered One, also known as Vecna, what is considered one of the greatest liches of your time. Throughout the realms, a legend. I'm not sure how relevant it is to you, people as a race, but you would have definitely heard about Vecna, the Whispered One. Him is pursuit of lichdom, and then the spread of how to achieve lichdom to his disciples, etc. Is ascent to godhood and all that. You recollect that from looking at this ring and the book to which it's linked to. While wearing the ring, you scour over the pages and you gleam with an 11 Arcana. You gleam the essence of it and get the sense that much evil must be committed to achieve lichdom, and it is a very long process that requires you to either make a bargain with such an individual as Vecna, a vestige of thereof, or commit such great evil that you, like something like gathering 1,000 souls and shaping a phylactery, that you essentially enter into undeath once you die, and are reborn again and forever into lichdom. That is what this book describes, the process thereof, and everything you can find in what I have on my DM screen is Grim Hollow.
No, that's fine. Like, I didn't. So essentially, he's trying to glean as much information as he can from it, and see if there's like, is there any way I can like sidestep this to get a bit more power, especially if he's the Whispered One. Like, in order to defeat Strahd, maybe I have to become a god, and say like, everything is towards saving his people. So if he has to become a god, even a dark one, to save his people, he will do it. But he said he's spending the entire night to read this to see what he can glean. So he'll definitely still...
From gleaming the book, it's very hard. From gleaming the book, it's very hard to within 11 to understand the exact process.
Oh,
but
of course,
you can tell that it will be such an act of evil from which you will not return from. This is not something casually like coming across a genie bottle and making a wish, or crafting a weapon. This is losing yourself and your soul and everything you are about, which might be a price worthy of paying for you, but will your people even accept you? Your people don't accept you now. Will they even dare say your name should you do any of these horrendous things within this book? Is this like the general vibe you're getting from
it's a Plan Z sort of thing. If nothing else will work, he'll...
Yeah.
It's like if it's like 3 Dusk Elves left and him, well, those 3 might hate me, but they will continue.
Sure. I'm gonna put you under this tree. Everybody else is sleeping off somewhere else. I'm guessing, Ramirez, you're tuning to shifting your hex weapon to the torchbearer's reach, learning to use it over your 2 hours of flight activity, as then you go to your meditative state.
I actually fully sleep.
Right.
Vampires actually sleep.
Right. Cool. Casimir, roll me perception check. But you're exhausted. So. 8. You don't notice her. You haven't noticed her. She's been looking over your shoulder for the past 10 minutes. But then there's a shiver, just instinctual. You turn and you see what at first you thought it was like a standard, just like skelly boy, like the ones you always raise up. But no, it's a woman, raven black hair, down to her cheekbones. And she's wearing the front mask made from bone of this like horn skull and 2 mirthful eyes. And she grins, and you can see 2 fanged teeth. And she whispers, "What you doing there? All alone?"
He immediately closes the book and it tries to exhaustively stand up and set himself in a defensive position. Who are you? Like he like rubs the sleepy dust from his eyes. How did you get here? What do you want?
She looks at you, still that mirthful smile, and tilts her head. Me? I'm Valenta. But I know who you are. I don't have to ask that question, do I? You've been causing quite a lot of trouble lately. In fact, your friend there took something of mine a while back.
Who's she point to?
I mean, she doesn't point to anybody. She's just talking to you.
Okay.
He's taken something from me, something very precious. A little project of mine, a plaything I've been working on for oh so long. I don't want him to go out there into the dangerous world and break before he has been fully completed.
What are you been working on? Who has taken what?
He, I think you keep referring to him as Beast, which is an accurate description. He is quite beastly. Those muscles do quite a lot of work. But he's so much more, you see. We took him, we fixed him, we unlocked his potential. But he escaped, thankless as he is. I want him back. I miss him. I want to show him that I can fix him, make him better. Do you think it's fair, stealing what's not yours? She says, kind of swinging shoulders now, kind of lolling about. You look and you can see, because you're sitting down. She has her hands on her knees a little bit, and she's standing up. But as she raises, she is 5 feet tall. She's quite short, like those, young Asian women that you have that stature. Yeah. So if you were to stand up, she'd probably be like maximum up to your chest. But she's looking at you, this mirthful, almost like childlike energy, all the while smirking a fang smile.
Casimir would stand up non-threateningly. Yes, Beast is. Unfortunately, he has escaped, but I have been continuing your work as best I can. There is much to him.
Is that so? Continuing my work. You know, I don't like being lied to. I've seen what was done to my little research place. Granouille, the poor thing, there is nothing left from him. Just mush all over the cavern floor. The entire place is ransacked and gassed to all 9 hells. So, fact is, you've taken him from me. I want him back. And you're gonna give him back. Won't you? Because if you don't, then you'll find out really quick that I am also very good at taking things.
He almost just scoffs and. It is. You are threatening a man with very little to lose. But I do not disbelieve you.
You know,
Tell me.
sometimes I still walk by her crypt. I open that stone door and look upon her skeletal remains, all turning to dust now. So much little is left at this point. And we talk on and. I wonder, if I don't get what I want, why should you get what you want? But I am no bully. I'll make a deal with you. You give me back what's mine, and I will give you what is yours, or what little remains of her. What say you?
Just almost without recompense, he's like, where would I have to bring the beast for this exchange to occur?
Why should I do all the thinking work? You have come up with such a brilliant plan already to take what's mine and ruin years of work. Why don't you put your mind to it? That brilliant keen mind of yours. Maybe you'll make a good aperitif of dinner. She just smiles and begins to step back into the shadows, and you can see through the mask those jade blue eyes gleam a little bit. And as she steps into the shadows, into the bark of the tree, turns into mist, and with a giggle vanishes into the night. I'll commend you on your bravery, but there's no doubt that nothing, absolutely nothing, would have stopped this individual from draining you. The only thing that kept you alive is your use yet to this individual. At that point, it is often begins to really set in.
Casimir is just gonna seek out wherever Zavik is sleeping, and if he'll just essentially sit outside of his tent with a tome in his lap, just wait for him to wake up.
Okay. You don't sleep. You wait 6 hours.
Well, no, I thought I was staying up all night to read, and I assume she bothered me while I was just reading the book.
Sure. With that being said, dawn breaks, muted, gray from the east, and you awake Most of you are refreshed. Casimir looks like death.
Or so.
Didn't you get some sleep?
I had some very heavy reading and a very interesting encounter.
And you didn't call for help. Come now, you should know better.
It seemed to escalate matters if I would.
That's not good. Okay, what was your encounter? What do we have to
There's-
deal with now? What new problem has arisen?
I wouldn't say no. It seems the consequences of your very fruitful encounter where you found the beast. Clearly, something has survived who spent time there. Woman, 5 feet. Did you find a woman so tall, skull, mask? Did you describe Valenta?
No. Wasn't anyone like that at the facility.
She walked.
I guess that means the ruse didn't work.
Walked
That's
to and
unfortunate.
from the shadows. Seemed to know we were responsible for, I assume, a very messy from your description, a very messy set of events. She wants the
Yes.
beast back. And I have half a mind to give him to her.
You
Why?
can fucking try.
You're not there!
Alright! I thought you said you were waiting outside my tent.
Hey, you probably overhear this, like, before you come out as Ramirez. So you could probably you heard all this.
Why?
But,
Why? He's good enough. And why would you want to give him over? He's
she implied
actually quite useful.
he is quite useful. And I have
And
found quite a bond to this one. There is much to him that I'm quite interested in learning, but she implied if we do not give her her work back, that she will destroy the remains of Patrina.
And you believe that she won't if you give the work back?
I can't take that risk. You know I cannot take that risk.
You know it won't matter. Well. You realize
So are we all hearing this?
No, I think they're speaking.
Awoke.
They're outside of Zavik's tent, so Zavik probably hears this as he's waking up.
You
It's
realize
one of those
that
questions
you're
that's
not-
kind
you're
of
not
up
going
to you.
do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you realize it's not going to work. You don't want to do this. That'll cause more problems in the future. You already have enough problems. You killed one of our kin. Now you want to betray someone who is on our side? What are you turning into? Him?
No, everything I do is for a good reason. He would never. He just keeps catching himself.
And as if only to reinforce and to stop you from stammering, you feel through the innate connection to your dearly beloved sister. You feel fear, not yours, hers. Genuine fear. Or maybe it's just your mind. Maybe all of this was always just in your mind. But you've come so far following just your mind. So.
Well. Let's gather everyone, get some food, and then decide if we're reading more of that book or if we're heading out for probably Ravenloft is our next spot, isn't it?
I strongly suggest we go to the temple before we go to Ravenloft. If nothing else, he just gestures to the pile of magical the pile of magical shit he brought back with him. There is much to glean, if nothing else, plunder, regardless of what dangers befall us.
Well, I suppose we can decide that with the rest of the group, and I'll turn over to the cart.
You turn on the
Going on
cart,
with the
you
Drake?
find the Drake is not there. In fact, the Drake is nowhere to be found near the cart. You find some of the crates there that you had in the cart just for storage, absolutely wrecked. As a matter of reflex, some of the shards and wood flecks were made like into a little nest. The mule, frightened, has pulled the rope taut and is still in a state of sweated panic, to the point where it kicked one of its water buckets to the side. You look over to Aya's tent, and on one side of the tent are Aya's feet, where she's sleeping. On the other side of the tent is half the Drake, head first into the tent, and Aya, you wake up to the thing just huffing this deathly breath into your face, and you feel its beak nudge along your side pouches, along your like bag. You look, and some of it's a little bit ripped at points where it has got a little bit more rough with it, and it's just desperately trying to like beak and claw at your carrying stuff, looking for that precious fix.
I won't give it any, but I'll approach to it and start picking my back out of his beak.
Okay. Roll strength contest.
Strength or athletics?
You can use athletics for this.
Do I see this happening?
You're all seeing this happening.
I will cast Hex on it, giving it disadvantage on strength checks. That did not.
Allow it.
That's me. You're just gonna shout to Beast, your strength is needed. The Drake is attacking Aya. Just loudly into his tent if he wasn't already awake.
Disadvantage you said on strength?
Yes. Disadvantage of ability checks of your choice.
19 still beats.
It's a strong beast.
Not only does it rip your pack away, it makes with it. It begins running like 60 feet away. And once it's 60 feet away from you, it gives you like a little side stink eye, puts it on the ground, and begins just rummaging through your pack. You begin to see all your stuff being like thrown like 5-10 feet away as it's looking for that precious thing in your backpack. You just see like a bunch like incense, sensors, like a crude, dirty vestment. A water skin just flies into one of the nearby branches. You see a crowbar hit one of the rocks. A set of old manacles. Just.
What did you do to that thing?
I don't know what it's looking. It has been sleeping all these days. It should be with less energy, I think.
Yeah, but what the hell did you feed it? Because it's trying to get it.
It was a pie. Maybe
No, even my great
pie
granny
itself.
could make me act like that. What the fuck was in it?
You can hear it like squeal, like it's like "Ah!" as it like gets away from the pack, and you can see its face is now smoking up. There's like steam coming off its face. It has spilled some kind of liquid from it, and you can see kind of spilling out of the pack is a pot, a little container with water pouring out of it, and the water is like the silvery sheen that reflects what little sunlight goes through the clouds, and the light hits it just right to reflect off it like a mirror. And where that water just touched the undead creature, it's just shrieking and backing off and trying to shake it off. Pond water.
Hey. I'll approach Ramirez and can you give me a hand with her? Or with it? I don't know the sex yet. Let's try to calm him down.
You look, there's no sex left.
There is no what left?
Either there's no sex left, or it was never made in its creation with a gender. It was not made to breed. It was made as a magical experiment to serve a purpose, but not as a siring mate.
I suppose I can help with this. But this time you're tying it up this time.
Yes.
Remember, make me a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
Why not just drag it to the woods and let it go? Why even hold on to such a thing?
You look over, you see a shadow coming, and you lift your hand, and you catch what's coming at your face. And you feel something soft hit your palm, and you catch it. You look, it's like the Strahd doll you got from Blinsky, just flung towards you. He keeps rummaging. Do you seriously not have a single piece of pie left?
Yeah, I have pie, but I imagine it's in
Where?
the back.
I'm looking at your inventory, and I'm lost.
It's at the bottom. It has a red circle.
Oh, that's nasty. Oh, like no, it's like it reaches to the bag and just like flings something and it falls limp on the ground. You see it's like furred, black and white. It used to be in a cage that broke apart. It's just a dead fucking skunk. What? Why are you hoarding all this shit?
She's a
Brandon's
hoarder.
just watching this madness. He's just like, the fuck?
It's having a hard time finding the fucking slice of pie.
Did you forget to feed that skunk?
Let's stop this thing, and I will go with and try and restrain it, pull it away from the bag.
When he's approaching, assuming that he's looking for the pie, I'm gonna cast Silent Image and make a massive pie in front of Ramirez.
just sprints towards you, mouth agape. Full sprint into the illusion. Keeps trying to bite at it. You'll spend a good half a minute going around it. You bought some time for it to stay still away from your bag in this one spot in front of you. It is desperate. It's clawing at the dirt. It's trying to get an angle of this pie, but yeah.
I would like to try and grapple it.
Go ahead.
Athletics.
Nope. It's
Oh my God.
hexed, so it is it's grappled.
Stop.
Although while you're holding it,
Okay.
you're gonna be suffering bite attacks because nothing's stopping you from bite attacking you. But what do you do?
I will start dragging it towards Aya.
It's within 5 feet of Aya. Goes for a bite attack.
Okay.
Do something about this thing.
It's just biting at your ankles.
Okay. I'll look fastly for a rope wherever it is and try to tie her beak to begin. Her beak. Yeah.
Do me a. It's gonna be a dexterity check. You can use sleight of hand if it's higher than your dexterity to just kind of maneuver around its dexterity. Of natural 1. This thing sucks.
Thank you.
Yeah, you managed to tie it down. Just lasso tie it off the ground and just sat on the ground. Delusion dissipates. It's left there, no cake, tied up.
Okay.
Well, if you want something
Yeah, that's
done
how
with
we
it,
will.
I can make it be done. And then just grabs his axe.
No. Okay, Aya, we need to talk about this. When you collect new pets, can they be ones that don't bite me? Or at least have us do something about that?
Yes,
Less than
let me-
ideal. What's our plan with this guy going forwards?
I thought I will be able to train it, but with
But how
Draconic,
long?
it doesn't look that easy.
Yeah, but how long do you think it's going to take? Because for one, I'm just going to say this. Like, we can't take it around with us if it's going to act like this.
Maybe it will be wiser to leave it in the nature. Thrown away.
Hearing Aya say it without Draconic, he just says in Draconic to the creature, "Do you have your mind about you, or are you mindless?"
It stops struggling and just slowly turns its head toward Casimir, blinking one eye then the other. It's not answering, but it's not struggling against ropes anymore.
He would just say, please stop attacking my allies. And he just like looks at the party. Does any one of you have any food, preferably meat?
It's
I'm sure they
clawing
got
at the
something,
ground.
but-
Its claws making triangles, circles, squares, different shapes. No, it's fucking nonsense. It's trying to communicate something, but it's not trained for communicating via symbols. Or has forgotten.
To the party, does anyone have any meat?
Nope.
I have none, but they
I'm
probably have
looking
something
for it.
inside.
He would just say to it, "We will let you go. Please remain calm. We do not wish you any harm. Do not attack that one." Gestures at Ramirez.
With its beak still tight, just goes low. It seems
Ramirez-
upset at something, and then turns its head to look toward the bag.
Ramirez let it go.
I
Do you
will
have
let it-
any of whatever it is seeking in that? Just gestures to the bag.
You even sure you want to give it any more of that? Because whatever it is driving it fucking crazy.
I will walk over to the skunk.
As soon
And I
as
will
Ramirez lets it
carry
go, it
that-
begins, like, still tied up, it begins, like, rolling onto its side, and just barrel rolling toward the bag.
I will take the skunk and throw it at its face.
It's a
Hey,
fucking
what-
dead skunk.
Why is it losing its mind? What did you feed this thing?
It was, there was, when I arrived here, there were some ladies selling some pies, and they have magical properties, addictive properties, but it makes you fall asleep, easily relax you. So I thought it could get relaxed, but it seems to be hooked at it.
Clearly, that's not the case.
Yeah, roll me deception.
Deception.
Yeah.
17.
Yeah, he's telling the truth.
Well, do you have any more of the pie to feed this creature? It is losing its mind. Nothing else. It would buy us a respite from this. This creature
like
is the
8
least
hours.
of our problems.
Yeah, but we can't exactly leave it here.
It is not mindless. We can at least explain to it that we only have.
If the pies put it to sleep, can we really explain anything to it if we feed it pie?
Before the pie. If nothing else, we can bargain with it. It seems quite motivated by the pie.
To buy or not to buy, that is question, yes.
I will let you lot figure that out. I don't want to get bit again by that thing.
Yeah, do you have many more of this pie?
Only had 3 more, and it eats a lot. I'm not sure. It will be only be fed 3 more
Just
times.
more question what's in the body pie.
Casimir just does it's magical properties. It does not matter.
Magic.
So he just says in Draconic, we have 3 more pies. And he just counts each finger. We can give you 3 more, but after that there is no more. You understand?
It nods its head. It does understand.
We can give it to you. You can fall asleep, but there is only going to ever be 2 more.
Hey. Are you?
It keeps nodding its head. It understands.
And I translate to the party like what I'm saying to it. Aya, please fish out one of the pies.
I'll
It shakes its head, but does it truly understand that there will be none? This thing's pretty dumb.
It turns to you, and it nods its head.
See my point.
I'm following Casimir's words. So he spoke Draconic, and he calmed himself. So I'll bring one pie to him, and I'll give the other two to Casimir.
Immediately hold my hands up. Like, no, this is your problem. I am
Okay.
doing this because Ramirez was being eaten.
Thank you. Well, I'll feed him one of the pies.
It consumes a pie. You expect it to go to sleep. You look at it for a good half a minute. It does not fall asleep, but it becomes very, very docile. It just rests its head. Its eyes become semi-droopy. It does not fall asleep, and though it is like undead visage and all that, and you're not quite sure, you could almost swear it smiled. It looks happy. It's wagging its tail slowly, and it's just doped up.
Right, Aya, if you need to communicate with it, just ask me.
Looks like just looks like it's having its tits on methadone. Christ. I just...
It looks like you just elephant darted it.
Can Casimir put his finger in the pie and just like lick it for flavor? He's not trying to like eat it. He's just curious what it tastes like.
I brought it.
It tastes like roasted beef.
It's not terrible.
Let me ask you an out-of-character question. Has Casimir ever consumed children?
Probably not on purpose, but he has nothing against consuming non-Dusk Elf children.
Okay, but that's not what I asked. The answer of, have you ever consumed children? The answer is no. Therefore, to you, it tastes like roast beef, which, fun fact, is what human meat tastes like. Don't ask me how I know that. I'm just Dungeon Master.
I thought that's why people were called long pig, because they taste like pork, not beef.
You know what? Let's cook somebody up. There's a theory. It tastes like not children. Here's my answer.
Yeah. It's not the worst. I don't think I would have lost my mind, but then again, I'm not that thing.
You roll me Constitution saving throw, by the way.
Ugh. From a lick of the pie?
Yep.
Ugh. 10.
Is that with your exhaustion?
Just ability checks at level 1.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So you're licking one finger, and you're like, okay, cool. It tastes like roast beef, and you look talking to your party, and you can kind of see that their mouths are agape, a little bit as they're watching you. You don't remember and haven't realized that for the past 30 seconds you have been eating a whole slice of this pie, bit by bit, just munching on it. You just kept tasting it. Yeah, and you finished it. And then everything fucking turns black as Casimir passes the fuck out.
I'm quite tired.
I don't think you were with us when we were at the mill, were you? To experience this firsthand.
I was with the other DM.
Casimir passes the fuck out. The crumbs still on his hand. His staff falls beside him. And in his slumber, he is smiling. You haven't seen Casimir smile much beyond cruel necromancy jokes or wherever the fuck, or taunting his enemies. This is a genuine, truly happy smile. Casimir, you dream. In the hours that pass, you dream of home, of times that have been, of father, of mother, sister dearest, before Strahd's name was ever known to your people, before Rahadan betrayed your people, before everything just turned to muck and mud. These are happy days. You are in your happiest place. What that is specifically is really, truly up to you as a player to describe. But I'm giving you the vibe of this is euphoria. It's the best you've ever felt in years.
Casimir's just gonna lean into it.
As Casimir falls, I would approach and start trying to wake him up.
Nope.
Big smile.
Big ol' fucking smile. And just visions of her.
childhood memories of when they were playing together, learning magic together.
Something weird for a second happens in that dream. The incantations, Strahd's words from the Ember Temple, invade a little bit of the dream, but you shake them off, and then they invade again. But they're not spoken by Strahd, they're spoken by Petrina. You remember this memory. This is your memory. Petrina playing around, just playing witch, playing wizards and warlocks, whatever child games, and she was incanting these very words. But they sound so genuine, and you knowing Arcane, you know these are real incantation words. Where did she know them from? And then the words just kind of fade into the next phase of the dream, and the happiness returns, and you're just stuck in this loop. You are dreaming, my friend. You fell asleep for a good hour. So, there's that.
He's loving it. Just times past, the glimmer of memory before they fell into the Shadowfell, just forgetting all of the hatred and bitterness.
It has been how long? 300, 400 years since you've seen
However,
sunlight.
like hundreds of years.
Genuine
since even
blue skies and sunlight. It's a sight. The rest of you, what do you do
football with the boys.
in that 1 hour if you wish to do anything?
I will do 2 more things to try and wake Casimir. I would do. I'd use minor illusion to try and create voices to try and coax him out using as best I can imitate Petrina's voice. And then, assuming that doesn't work,
I mean,
I will go.
it works to
a
the degree
little bit-
you don't wake him up, but you earn some smiles, probably. I don't know. You describe what your character does. I don't want to describe it for you.
Yep. I will then, with that not successfully waking Casimir up, I will then go a little bit meaner, and I will take my signal whistle, get right next to Casimir's ear, and blow it very loudly. Try a very loud sound piercing into his ear to try and wake him up.
Casimir does not react, but you do hear from up above on the second floor a window open, with a shatter, and you just see Davian's daughter, just 2 hands on a railing of the window. She looks out, then down at you, and she's like, "You're waking the baby. What are you doing?
Terribly sorry.
It's 7 in the morning."
My friend fell asleep after eating some pie and is not responding to anything else. I tried something as loud as I could to get to him, and it's not working.
What?
But
And you hear like a baby cry in the background. She just goes, "Oh, but I just got like maybe an hour of sleep." And she just shuts the window and returns to eternal parenthood.
He flies into a rage.
Yeah.
yeah, with those failing, and kind of seeing that he's not in danger of
This
dying, I
is
would
magical
just
sleep.
short rest.
This is not just normal
Yeah.
sleep, you can tell, yeah.
Yeah, I would just rest then.
Did we ever experience this before as a party, or was it only the other DM?
No.
All DM.
These
We
pies
never did.
are awesome. That's all I'm gonna say. They're woozy. And yeah, the only downside of them is that you have to realize you're feeding people children. But that's besides the point. Carry on. Anybody else does anything else during that hour, or we're just kind of flip forward to? We're just waiting for Casimir to wake up from his mud bed.
I think we're waiting for Casimir.
Okay, Casimir.
Yeah.
I would say waiting.
An hour passes. You wake up in the dragon Drake's embrace. You're just kind of cuddling him like a big old overstuffed, fleshy doll bear. But you awaken, and the dream ends. And then everything returns to shades of grey. You're back in Barovia. Away from her, away from father, from mother, from home, from your happy place, from a dream achieved, from your people rejoiced, saved. You're back in this grey reality. Craving more.
Casimir wakes up with a smile. He looks at the dull, gray everything around him at the party, and then he just gets a look of like, oh, this place. and the perpetual scowl goes back. Like, so, that pie is far more magical than you described. Have you had some already?
I
Whatever
tried
it
in the
was knocked
past.
you out.
It
It
gave
ho-
me.
You didn't wake for anything.
You
Knocked
saw
you
what
flat
I
on your
saw.
ass.
Neither would. You saw what I saw. Neither would you. Was bliss. Just in this hellscape, bliss.
I'm gonna say,
Well-
because I read the item wrong, it's even worse than I thought. So, a creature that fails its Constitution saving throw falls into a trance that lasts for 1d4 plus 4 hours. So you were sleeping for 5 good hours.
Do I get a long rest?
Yes.
It's 1 hour shy. It's 1 hour shy.
no, because elf rests on 4 hours.
Oh, that's true.
yes.
Half elf though. Half elf.
Yes, you do.
Do half
yes, you
elves
do.
have trances?
Yeah.
Full elves.
Yes. You get a long rest.
I'm a high elf.
Yeah. You wake up
Yay.
feeling like you just slept like 8 hours.
Thank
Yep.
God, because I had no spell slots.
Do you recover from exhaustion as well on a long
Yes.
long rest?
You
One
can say
level.
no. You can say no because of the pie. Maybe the pie gave you
No,
exhaustion,
I'm
but
not
normally,
saying no.
yes.
I'm saying you benefited from a long rest with this pie. So
So yeah,
so-
normally
There it is.
you recover 1 level of exhaustion
There it is.
per.
But you're back in the gray, so not everything is rainbows.
Well. So, to that, what's our plan?
We
Are we going
read
back?
more.
I think we could read back more into the tome. Hopefully, find a path into Ravenloft.
The plan is pie. You hear a voice in your head.
Yeah, he just says.
Just add
we
it as a flaw
should-
to your sheet.
I'm gonna run out of room for my flaws eventually.
Cool. Anyway, I'm gonna shut up now.
Pie.
Pie.
I eat rat.
I eat rat. How many days has it been since you fed, Ramirez?
2.
Okay.
Seeing this, do I know Ramirez hasn't eaten given like the past couple
Up
days?
to Ramirez. I'm not gonna dictate that.
You would probably know that I haven't eaten in 1, not 2, though.
Do you get like jittery or like do you have like a physical tell when you don't eat?
He's just like eating rats in the
little
corner.
Bit. Like a little bit of a tell, but more slightly more irritated.
Okay, I just want to note that it's not urgent. I'm just noting for future.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. If you look on my sheet, you'll see I have a little counter.
So to expedite things, anybody wants to do anything before you attempt to decipher next chapter? Because I see that spark is kind of going, and
Yeah.
So-
I would actually have started trying to kind of read some of it. I think while Casimir was asleep. To try, not
it's the
enough
same
to
as
get
before.
in, or
Thankfully, exhaustion is not a factor in all this. But same as before. Before the script melds into an enigma, a puzzle to be solved. You have your work cut out for the whole bunch of you, but you don't have to go alone. You know, Ramirez doesn't have to do this alone. Should you wish, you may ask for the aid of another proficient in the arcane or otherwise capable of helping you in the task in deciphering the tome's next chapter.
Casimir will happily help, but before we start, he just goes to Zavik, 'cause in case he wasn't fully there. He's gonna have the conversation with him. Beast, tell me, what does the name Volenta mean to you?
She was the one who oversaw everything in Grenwy's cave. Grenwy was just the one who was pulling the strings, but she's the overseer. She was the self-appointed governess of whatever her experiments were down in the cave. She paid me a visit from time to time.
I assume, given her demeanor, she is not someone to be trifled with.
No, not in the slightest. Although it was Strahd who I'd feared the most, but she's a close second. Even I wouldn't let her small demeanor or anything fool you. She's very capable. She's very powerful.
Really glad you picked up on that.
What?
The small demeanor does not.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, no, like Casimir was like,
Mhm.
given how no fucks she gave, it was like, yeah, she's either
I was
crazy.
ready to suplex you if you were gonna do something fishy. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's why he was like standing. Like she appeared out of nowhere. He was standing defensively, not offensively.
Suplex.
Yeah.
Little 5-foot woman just suplex.
Mm-hmm.
She's pure leverage.
Let me just say, you rolled a perception check, and I didn't have to roll because if she rolled natural 1, she would have beat your perception check. So I was like, I'm not gonna roll. Yeah. Anyways.
She wants you back, and
Of course she does.
Bitches.
I don't take her to be the bitches on my dick.
she started on the arm. Her work's not yet done.
Yeah, no, she started, but she wants to finish. She wants to please Strahd, and at least from what I could gather with my time in there. But I don't know. She's definitely a woman or whatever she is set out. And when she has something in mind, she wants to set out to accomplish it. Every time she would come down to the cave, she would always have a new idea, tell Grenwy to keep pushing more and more.
What is she trying to do with you specifically?
Specifically, I don't know. I can only imagine probably turn me into one of those, unfortunately, like what my friends had turned into. But I just held out longer, that's all.
She has my sister. There has to be some way we can all get what we want from this. If I will be honest, if I have to pick between her and you, I will pick her. But I do not wish to give you to her on your back. And it sounds like giving you to her is suicide, because despite your strength, she is stronger.
She's very strong. But if you ever were to put a dagger in my back...
He would just say, no, it is not my style to use daggers and knives. It is Ramirez. I'm telling you this to tell you, so you know where everything stands. I wish I need access to my sister for my plans, but I understand complications. Let me know if you can think of anything. Perhaps the solution is to give her what she wants. Give you back, but give you the ability to stand against her.
I would ponder, but unfortunately nothing would come to mind off the top of my head currently of what she would want. But he's just pondering. But he's also curious to he's.
The most obvious is what she wants is you back.
Well, no, she wants me, but I can't remember what I was just thinking.
Well, does it make sense to divide them? To draw her out somewhere, saying that we'll keep you over and then strike back? Assuming we would have better chance at that than facing her somewhere else as she tries to take you.
Well, she implied that we should create an aperitif, which implies that she might be there at dinner. I doubt we can have her inspect the show horse, use my term, in front of Strahd and have us express our displeasure with him at the table. We cannot fight a war on two fronts. I doubt we can fight a war on one front with Strahd.
Yes, that was the point. Fighting fighting within Ravenloft seems like a very, very bad idea. I was thinking if she came out here to talk to you, Casimir, perhaps we draw her out again.
I did not call her. She appeared as I was reading the book. However, he looks at the book.
Well,
I
she
might be
knows. No, go ahead.
I might be able to bargain with something else. As much as I would wish to glean the secrets from this book, do not know if my reputation can survive using it to help our people. So, and he just says this out loud, almost matter-of-factly. It would be curious to see what it would be like to turn into a lich, just like matter-of-factly.
Well, it's good to know that you realize that would cause more problems than it would aid you.
Well, it would just be too much work, and I do not know if it would be worth it or would have the ability to do so. Time is of the essence,
take
after all.
out my flaming weapon. Should we burn that book then?
No,
Destroy
no.
path forwards. Sure no one else can take that knowledge and use it?
Given what is already here, I doubt anyone but Strahd will be able to turn themselves into a lich.
Okay.
And
Bitch, don't give me ideas.
he would care. He's already undead. Can an undead become a lich?
Of course.
Yes.
This is this information from the book you just acquired.
Well then, shall we go and decipher the next chapter?
Yes, so Ramir, how far have you gotten?
Not that far. I'm not particularly good at this. Just lucky.
No, this is an E. No, this is, and then he would just help him, give him an advantage or take the Arcana check to help him read the book.
So,
Well,
yeah.
Ultimately, giving me advantage won't help.
You say that. Your choice, whether you want.
I have advantage by default.
Okay.
I will.
But I will help Casimir. I was basically trying to lay it out and get things prepared for Casimir to try and make it as easy as I could for him, because I don't know the Arcane particularly well. I know a little bit from my.
It takes you about 3 hours of research to fully decipher this rather large chapter, but you've done it. Suffering no additional exhaustion and you kind of read over the pages, page by page, and it's like beginning to grain on your mind, like, oh my god, I've been like reading books and stuff for hours. But you keep on marching. It is done. You stare at your writing. It is now high noon. Pages translated into common script are lit by the grey light of the muted sun. Already you feel the pages drawing you in, dragging your mind, body, and soul into visions of the past. As the mist swallows your surroundings once more, you feel yourself grow weightless, and you look around at your companions. Do you gather? Do you accept the book as ushering into the past? Yeah?
Usher it.
Yeah, okay.
And I will make sure that I grab onto Strahd's sword.
Your feet leave the ground, and your very being is ushered into the pale beyond. This time, it is not Strahd's voice that echoes through the descending darkness, but Sergei's. It sounds almost jovial, enthused. I wish you had someone like Tatiana, brother. The voice fades as Strahd's inner monologue then speaks. Oh, but I will. Then, slowly, the scene blooms into view before you. Let's use our theater of the mind for a second here before I load us into the map.
Okay.
The air smells of flowers and perfume. I'm going to change the music a little bit, actually. Yeah, let's do The air smells of flowers and perfume. Outside, past windows basked in true sunlight, you hear muffled laughter and the distant sound of music. You and your group stand within a large tailor's fitting room. In front of each of you are tall mirrors, allowing you a good look at the surroundings in which you find yourselves in. You see a lean, elderly man dressed in fancy, brightly orange garb. He grins as he makes his way around the lot of you, carrying a variety of vests and expensive-looking clothing. He sets the clothes gently onto nearby racks, and then brings out a measuring tape and takes a few measurements around your waist, shoulders, and backs. Yes, you hear him say in that thick Vistani accent. You must be very excited. It isn't every day that common folk are invited to attend a royal wedding. Worry not, you are in Theodone's good hands. At the bride's request, I have prepared a variety of options for you to choose from. I am no miracle worker, but I will do what I can do to get you looking wedding proper. And with grace unbefitting his age, the old tailor weaves between you as he hands you a range of accessories befitting nobles. Jewelry, wigs, lace cuffs, decorative pins. You also see a number of mannequins have been set up to present several outfits befitting royal guests. Diodon, the tailor, continues to waltz around the dressing room, attending to both you and several other guests ready for a wedding, of all different races and sizes and such. You look around, you see what I described, as well as a open letter set upon a nearby coffee table. It appears to have been open and read already, but it's in clear view of you. In this scene, do you wish to do anything?
Well, other than putting on an outfit that looks at least mostly appropriate for a wedding while not being too flashy, I would want to take a look and read that letter.
Cool. You pick up the letter, you give it a quick read. Anybody else does anything else in the meantime? Guys?
No, I would say not personally, no.
Be muted and I didn't know us.
Wow, you haven't said anything in like the past hour, and I was like, I guess Mac fell asleep or some shit.
No. Yeah. Brandon's just looking for any familiar faces that we may have seen in other visions, other memories.
You note, which is information by itself, that in this room there are no familiar faces. None of the people here even look like they belong in this room. You look around, they all seem to be dressed or getting dressed in one variety of noble wear or another, but the faces are that of commoners. Plain, some of them unshaven, you see Dudon, come up to some of them with shaving cream and it begins working them real quick, just giving them a rough few patches and smoothing them over, just making them wedding ready, and then moving on, using a little bit of that Vistani magic to make that quick. They don't seem familiar, and they don't even seem Barovian in that matter. They seem of all sorts of races. You even see a couple of dwarves amid them. You even note that one of the dwarves that Diadon just gave a shave to is this nice-looking woman that is good-looking. Just needed a little bit of a shave. Because dwarves get it.
Yeah, some say we dwarves, we just bust out the ground.
Yeah. Right. Alright. Well, those of you who join Ramirez in reading the letter, if you so wish, you read it. It's very neat handwriting, a nice crimson ink onto very, very fine parchment that is a little bit fragranced too. It reads, "My dearest friends, it is with much joy that I write to invite you to our wedding ceremony in Castle Ravenloft, which will take place on the eventide of the 10th of Caranthor 351. As Sergei's family joins him on this day, so do I wish for you to join me, for you are the closest thing to family I have ever known. On this radiant day, the good people of Barovia and the royal house of von Zarovich shall become that much more closer like a family, united together to witness a new age upon the common people, with me as your queen and sister. If not by blood, then perhaps by bond. By the elders' graces, very much kind graces, a carriage has been arranged to take you to Ravenloft. There you shall meet Diadone. He is a tender-hearted man, and I ensured that he will see to your every need in meeting von Zarovich's expectations of decorum, which we both sometimes struggle with, don't we? Even to this day, I am yet to get used to certain traditions and find myself lost amid a sea of high-class strangers who look upon me with restrained judgment. It would bring me much comfort to have you, the common folk, by my side. Gifts are not necessary, for your company is the greatest gift you can give me this day. I look forward to seeing you. Love, Tatiana." You note that there's this letter in Ramirez's hands, as well as several other copies of a similar written letter for each of you, and the people in this room.
Hell yeah, give me one of them letters.
Scented and everything.
Oh, good. On this right.
You note, looking in the mirror, that you are yourselves, although the image is a little bit morphed to make you more suiting, thanks to Diodon's work. Even the barbarian amongst you has like a few very nice symmetrical braids on his beard and on the side of his head, and there's a nice black wig laying there for you if you want to like accent and patch up the scar on the side of your face.
Disgusting.
You don't need to. In fact,
no, just kidding.
In the way that your makeup is right now, the scar is almost not so much hidden, but accented in such a way that it's not terrifying, but tells of a warrior's tale, perhaps, or otherwise.
A distinguished war hero, not a monster.
Exactly. There's like jewelry hanging off Aya's horns in like little arcs, little diamonds dangled tips with golden accents along them. She's still wearing her suit of armor, but it has been decorated with like gold and chains and stuff to make it more military and regal, suiting a wedding. Even Casimir is not looking as homeless as usual. In fact, Casimir, you note there's a patch sewn into your cloak that was not there before. It is the ancient symbol of your family crest.
He runs his fingers along it, almost forgetting like family crests, just thinking of his people.
Right.
Remembering
just
a time
a
when
thing
like,
of a time,
families,
time lost. Yeah. You look onto Ramirez. He looks less pale, perhaps just a work of makeup. His eyes still glint that wicked yellow, but not as threatening in this light, in this sunlight, which thankfully for this is a memory does not harm you, Ramirez, for the sake of this. I don't know if someone harms Dampiers, but
it does not.
For the sake, okay, good. So thankfully your skin just glimmers like a diamond or some shit. I don't know. But you note, Ramirez, that you also have a crest of a different family that you may or might not recognize. It's the same one that Rohaden and your parents would have sworn allegiance to, the house of Brunstad. And of course, there's Bretter in his regal suit. The artificer's suit has been also like silvered over, and you would have a huge medallion kind of clinking off the end of your beard with like a nice dragon visage. But yeah, your visages have been altered a little bit, and you have things around you should you wish to add to this costume going forward. Other than that, if you wish to do something else other than take your time to put on costumes and come up with mannerisms, if you find those necessary for what's to come, innately, like before, through this memory, you receive some knowledge that in terms of names, you can choose whichever names you wish to for yourselves, be them yours or something else. For Tatiana, having invited you, is a firm believer that names don't really matter. Anyone can call themselves whatever they wish. A name doesn't change a person. It is the soul of a person that defines them, regardless of the name. This is how she was with people, the common folk. To the point where she didn't even learn their names. She just treated everybody as equal. That's my time talking done. If you wish to do anything else, go ahead. Otherwise, you can see that, certain guests are being like ushered toward the courtyard whenever they're ready. We'll pretty it up.
Brandar will be pretty much ready and waiting to go.
Yeah, I would likewise head in, ready to go, and dressed, and kind of give a quick hand pass over the face, kind of say, okay, I need to be in character for this. I need to be not who I am, potentially. Or at least I don't know who I need to be for this, but I will find out as I go.
You look in the mirror, and what you see is a dusk elf, among other humanoids. Exact details perhaps don't truly matter. Anybody else stays behind, or are we just moving on to the chapel courtyard as everybody's kind of being ushered there?
Casimir will just quickly fix Zavik's tie and just remark to him, "No, I forget. You were a man once. You
Where's rubbing it in?
Well, no, because
No, I know.
He's complimenting what you are,
I
but
know.
forgetting what you were. Like, you were a man." He just looks at the scar.
I'd never been in such fine clothing before. This is more of arenas kind of thing. It's
Tell
not
me.
too bad.
He just points at you in the mirror.
I mean, really, what would you wear for a wedding, right?
Yeah, like the finest he can get. So he just looks at you in the mirror and asks you, "Tell me, what that thing in the mirror, pointing to your reflection, is that who you are, or he puts his hand on his scar, or puts a finger on his scar? Is this what you are?"
You would kind of try to perk up. You take like a really more deeper look. And he's well, for all my life I grew up knowing that I was a monster, but I know that I'm one of the forest kin to the Faerun wilds, that I'm a true furball at heart. But that time is done now.
You can pick which direction you go. I can help you. If you help me bring our people back, I will ensure that you become who you will be, or you wish to be.
And he kind of scoffs now. It's like, you're putting too much faith into her. You're thinking already about it.
Everything has a price if we are willing to pay it. But it does not mean we cannot enjoy the moments in between when payments are due. And then he will just go to the table and find whatever cologne and slather himself in it.
Okay.
Like Armenian at a nightclub, just bathe in it.
Do
Oh,
it.
it sucks.
He
It just
doesn't
sucks
care.
being around you for a good minute. It just you gotta go outside. You gotta air this out.
Bro, that aftershave.
He
You use like a good
smells
quarter
just
of the
like a
bottle, and you're pretty sure like this
Yeah.
bottle alone costs like 60 gold pieces.
He smells like a perfume aisle exploded, and he's loving it.
What is this smell? Oh God,
So
no,
you go
no,
from
no,
multiple
that's
different
enough.
Bottles?
Yeah, Brando just walked by. Oh, god damn, you smell like a Kalimpor brothel. Holy fuck.
Listen, I understand that
Casimir has
you
a
desk elves must cover your wild sense and all that, but come on, this is a little bit of an overkill. You look just fine. You look great, my friend. Let's go.
Casimir smiles and gets ready to be seated.
There is a little bit of stink in his voice when he mentions your race. There is, if you felt it, it is there. The
Oh yeah,
racism.
no, it's definitely there. But Casimir is a bit racist himself, so he lets it go.
If I haven't mentioned
He
this
knows
before,
the Dusk Elves are the proper people. So
the tailor himself, by his clothes, mannerisms, and jovial, if he is not, it will surprise you. But if he isn't Vistani, then you don't know what he is. Think about that dynamic and the year you're in. But anyways, that being said, anybody else stays in the room does anything else with cologne?
No.
Nope, Brandar already feels horrible wearing this stuff, but he's just gonna bite his tongue and just go.
I mean, like, it's whatever you as a character would wear for a wedding, really.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Eh,
Rather than just wear a loincloth, though. I get it.
now, guys, but continue, and I'll see the stream later if you don't need me.
Well,
If not,
it's 9:30 on my end. And it's really, really your call. Whether or not you want to continue without Ivan or...
I'm
Or
okay
what?
waiting because I feel like this would take a little bit.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
the wedding has a lot of important stuff happening in it because it's
Yeah.
the formative moments in
Yeah.
Simon Zarevich.
I think... I think that this memory, missing out on opportunity to do stuff, will feel bad because I don't know if we'll go back to it. I don't think it's a reality on our end. But we can definitely call it a session here and continue from there. I'm going to leave you on a little fun cliff, so to speak. What do you call it?
Cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger, yeah. So as you step out onto the courtyard, you see, you hear like the Joyce melody sings. There's the pipes of Castle Ravenloft's grand organ just wake you from this deep, restful morning slumber that you were in coming into the book. Through the jubilance of the Vern Spring afternoon that enters your skin, Casimir, you glance over the courtyard. You see him. You too, Ramirez. You see your brother. You see Rahadin across the courtyard. Take some restraint, not to clench your fists. And behind him, Casimir, you see your father. Piotr, chief of Dusk Elves. And that's where I'm gonna leave it.
Dun, dun, dun.
Right.
look, the music.
Casimir was alive during this wedding, theoretically, right? Like, even if he's not
Yes.
in
In fact, you
attendance.
knew exactly where you were. I have history. I can tell you in private if you don't want to share it with players yet.
I'd share. Like, I'm just curious. Like, if he was here, or was he doing something in the village?
You were not here. You were not in the wedding. In fact, a feeling of forgotten dread fills you, but you're not sure why quite. You just know that you're back in the gray. And in the gray, nothing is as happy. Yes, there's sunlight and everything. But you look at your father's face, and you can't help but feel a certain sense of dread toward your father. You were not here. you were with the Vistani. You were a ward, essentially, by Rahadin's word, and I can detail it later, but you have to go, so I'll just keep it short. By Rahadin's command and Strahd's command, after the war with the elves, you were made a ward in the Vistani camp.
Oh, so the pogrom already happened then?
The what?
So
No.
the wedding happened.
No, the killing of your people did not happen. The war on the elves against King Barov happened.
Okay.
If you can you stick around for like a minute or two, and I can actually explain it to you if you want.
Yeah.
Kind of from the top, and anybody who needs to go can go. That's fine, I understand. But let me just
Yeah, I gotta
see.
bounce.
I'll see you later on the other week. Have a good one,
Yep.
guys.
Take care.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm like, I should not have hit Control F on my notes because I have nearly like 400 pages of notes, and I just killed Control.
Jesus.
And like my entire docs like crashed because it's like I'm not searching a 400-page document. But yeah, no, I do have history about your people that you would remember as well. I just want to wait till this memory to make it relevant. Let me just.
I didn't want any spoilers. I just wanted to know.
It's not
essentially,
spoilers. It's just history up to this point that you would remember as a child. It's absolutely not spoilers. Trust me.
Okay.
It's just to give you context of where you are at and why you, Casimir, are not in this memory, even though you're elsewhere. It's really taking sweet time to scroll down.
Yeah, I just didn't want to be like, oh, Casimir, and also like in this seat is also Casimir.
All right, ready?
Yep.
So, Legacy of the Dusk Elves, starting from the top. Years ago, during the reign of King Barov, Strahd's father, the clan of von Zarovich was at war with the Dusk Elves, who refused to pay fealty to a human king. With the aid of a Dusk Elf exile named Rahadin, King Barov essentially conquered the elves. In Rahadin's eyes, King Pyotr was weak and corrupt. The Elf King's royal line was nearly obliterated, and the Dusk Elves were hunted like rabbits in that war. The few that survived, the so-called Barovian Dusk Elves, were either subjugated or forced to live among the Vistani, like a sort of minority. On King Barov's order, Pyotr, the dethroned Dusk King, was made ward and placed under Strahd's surveillance in Ravenloft while it was getting constructed, before King Barov ever reached castle. This is the time you find yourself now. You were made ward in another Vistani camp elsewhere. They pretty much spread their royal line, obliterating it or otherwise separating you guys. So you grew up without a father, essentially. Since the end of the war. You have not heard from him because we haven't really made anything in your background regarding your father. So as far as I'm concerned, you haven't heard from him since the end of the war. So pleased was Barov with Rahadin that the king made the Dusk Elf an honorary member of his family. And after Barov eventually died, you would notice from present history, Rahadin continued to fight as one of Strahd's generals. When the wars ended and Strahd turned his attention to building Castle Ravenloft and finishing it, Rahadin saw to it that wizards and artisans were brought to Barovia, and that some select few Dusk Elves were brought to Castle Ravenloft and made into servants. Years later, Strahd appointed Rahadin as his Castle Chamberlain, and this is where we find ourselves now. Rahadin was pleased to do whatever Strahd asked of him, and he instilled terror in the castle staff by routinely, flogging those who didn't perform their duties to his exact standards. And then through those years, Rahadin just continued to take pleasure in tormenting his own race, essentially. So cruel was he that he sent you, Pyotr's only son, away to live the rest of your life in a concentration encampment south of Valaki, essentially, right? and that's where we found you years later, right? Growing among humans, Vistani. The rest, I won't spoil because I don't know if that's relevant.
But just so I'm 100% sure,
Uh-huh.
so Casimir is in the ward of the Vistani right now.
In
And Patrina,
this
I'm
memory,
sure
which Strahd is not there to witness where you're at now, you're outside the midst of this memory.
Yeah, he's outside the wedding. Is my
Your
point.
character, who you're playing right now, is a guest of Tatiana who was invited here by letter.
Yep.
You see yourself in the mirror as yourself. Other people see you as different. This is how the memories were like kind of working so far. Yeah. Which is a very sad thing because you look at your father and it's like, oh, he's not going to recognize me.
And is Patrina here?
No.
Is he like Strahd's date, or is she?
No.
Okay. That's the other question. Like, did he still, because he's not single yet?
So
and the slaughter hasn't happened.
Well, you don't know anything about Strahd's love life, not from the past or not from this memory. So far, you would know that throughout your childhood, Patrina spent time with Strahd von Zarovich, and then, well, there was a period where she didn't spend time with him. She spent time with her people, didn't feel like one among them, and eventually returned to Strahd. But I don't want to spoil that because that's a later memory, and
that's the thing on its own.
And your character has his own thing going on, so I'm not gonna dictate what you remember.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure like that's not coming into play with this memory, which is the answer.
You will see what comes into play. I'll be doing it scene by scene, and you can ask me questions to see if anything's relevant.
Okay.
I just want to explain why Piotr is here.
No, that's perfect. I just wanted to clear up those couple things, and you did. Thank you.
Yup. But we'll pick up from here.
There's French Vistani also?
I'm just giving them accents, dude.
I know. It was just funny.
My theory is that all
like...
Vistani are French in my head, but what's her name? Esmeralda Avenir. First of all, there's different Vistani tribes from all over the world. First of all, so they're their own culture too. Second of all, I kind of think of like Esmeralda Avenir as somebody who has spent her time away from her people enough to immerse into other cultures and get rid of her accent and learn to meld in other societies. But the truth of it is, I'm just giving people French accents because I like a French sailor. That's it.
I know it's not a one-to-one, but every time I hear Esmeralda, I think of Esmeralda from Hunchback, who's also a gypsy. The one who gave Frollo...
well, that's inspiration, isn't it? Behind a name, yeah. She is a gypsy, and she's a charmer. She has like charm spells and such, so that's inspiration. It's just a question of like whether or not the party wants her as an ally, which thus far this party has been very adamant about being just a party, and I'm fine with that too.
It's an instinct of like not wanting the NPC to outshine, because you know like how like most DMs hate DMPCing, and Esmeralda has a high potential of being a DMPC in her ability.
Well, then meet me halfway in the middle. Like, I don't need to DM NPC if you don't let me, so to speak, lead the story forward. I don't know. Like, we had Mac playing our other campaign, and he was playing his own DMPC, but we didn't let him. We joked about it, but we didn't let him become like the story. Right? It's all on the party. We called him the main character because we found it funny, but you know,
I kept him like in the background enough where he wasn't relevant.
Yeah. My ideal solution for meeting people in the middle when people are new and shy to D&D and stuff, or otherwise just don't want to take the lead too much, is doing what I did with you, where I literally gave you one of the NPCs to play.
I hope I didn't fuck up that NPC, because I feel
you're
like
playing him the way you're playing him. I will not hold you to any standard. You changed him, yes, to your own vision of Casimir, and as the vision of Casimir we're gonna have. That's fine. That's all it is.
I got a question actually, right? You know Dusk Elves. Are they only in Barovia, or are they all over Faerun?
So like Drow, right?
So they're just technically drow. Like, I'm
There's
sorry.
there's surface Drow. Well, no, not really, because okay. So seriously though, Dusk Elves have been around since first edition, and they are their own race. No, they're not only in Barovia. You have to realize that Barovia is just this really small 20-mile across chunk of land that was ripped from the material realm and placed in Shadowfell. There was a kingdom of Barovia. There is a kingdom of Barovia in Greyhawk still. In fact, both Barovia and Greyhawk Barovia exist at the same time. The Von Zarovich line exists in material time in Greyhawk. It's just that Von Zarovich.
It's just what I was thinking. It's just like Casimir's whole thing is like allowing his people to continue to live on. Then
well, he's talking about his people, like his people in Barovia, who are trapped in the Shadowfell, right? They're not escaping unless something is done, and that's what he's working towards.
But by escaping, hey, look, women.
Hey, if he got out and saw like a whole bunch of Dusk Elves, he'll realize, oh shit, what have I done? I thought we were it.
Well, they're not your people. Just if I go to Russia and say a bunch of Russians, that doesn't mean that they're my family. Yeah, we share a race, or like a nationality, or whatever. But we're not a clan, you know. Like,
are Dusk Elves Shadar Kai?
No. So this is what I'm saying. They are their own race. Like you can look up. They actually have an Elvish name and everything, and they've been around since first edition. It's just that in 5th edition they're not specified as a separate race. So if somebody wants to play as, I would be like, yeah, we can play Drow or Shadar-kai or whatever. It's just that I don't want to call them Shadar-kai because they have nothing to do with the Raven Queen, and I don't want to call them Drow because they have nothing to do with Lolth.
Yeah.
They're like their own nation with their own history and culture and gods and everything. But in 5th edition, it just doesn't matter too hard because the story kind of eclipses them as a people. Yeah, there's a tragedy, yeah, it existed, but like it doesn't matter what gods pray to because other gods kind of take precedence. Because I don't know, for example, the abbot is a thing, right? So he's a much bigger religious kind of thematic in this 5e campaign than what gods do Dusk Elves play. Yeah.
In your world, is it the gods have little sway in Barovia, or the dark powers act as a substitute and corrupt whatever intention those who serve the gods are?
So according to the module, when you run 5e, clerics and paladins are not fucking nerfed. They're not nerfed all to help because gods don't listen. But I already mentioned it throughout the campaign that every time you call upon divine power, it has to be either you work hard for it and it's genuine, or you are lazy about it and something else fills that spot. And you're asking about like dark powers. It is not out of the question that, you know, when you call for divine intervention, it's not Helm who helps you. It's dark power who's trying to buy a bargain out of you, essentially. That's helping you with those divine spells because that's an empower. You're in their domain. But divine magic works in Barovia just with some alterations to certain spells. That's about it. Be they visual or like teleportation doesn't work in Barovia, for example, like things like that. There is a whole section on alternation to magic within the module. But the gods know of the Shadowfell. They have power in the Shadowfell. Certain darker gods have just more power. Like if you were like off the Raven Queen, she would have absolute domain here because this is her home. Versus like, I don't know, Bahamut, whose entire aura got fucked up, you know?
Gotcha. Okay, I gotta take care of stuff. Awesome session. Sorry I have to leave early. See you guys next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, see ya.